If you struggle with knowing how to fix a painting, then this tutorial will help you. I have this abstract floral here that one of our team members created. From what I'm told, they didn't try too hard to make it, super fabulous. So as you can see, it has a lot of issues with it, and I am going to show you how to fix them. And I'm going to use this source over here as a guide that will help me get this on track. So, so far, this painting was created in acrylic paint, and so I am going to go over top of the completely dried acrylic with oil. So I'm using oil paint here, and I'm going to get started in 1 second. But first, if you are watching this live, we are going to have a giveaway at the end of this tutorial, and this is what we're giving away. It is quite a generous offering. It is a full set of acrylic paint and our Fearless brush set, which is for mixed media artists. It is a fantastic brush set. I love it. And then this acrylic medium here. So a fantastic giveaway. Stay tuned, and we'll let you know how you can win that. We also have a live chat here, so you feel free to ask questions on the chat, and Jake will help you out here. And I'm going to get started. So I think the first thing we should do is talk about what is wrong with this painting. Maybe you already know. Tell us in the chat if you know what's wrong with this painting. So feel free, offer your critique, and be as brutally harsh as you want, because the team member that made this painting is not going to have his feelings hurt. Right, Tanner? Because I know Tanner can probably do better, but he did say yesterday he doesn't think flowers are a part of his voice. So maybe he did try his hardest. I don't know. But anyway, feel free. Be brutally honest. Tanner's not going to care. Now, I would say the main thing is the forms are not integrated into the background. There really isn't much of a color story to speak of, although it's not bad. It's basically dominant in the, sort of reds and oranges. But this line right through the middle compositionally, we have all these floating flowers that just face forward with harsh edges. So I need to fix all that, mainly integrate. And a great way to integrate is having some blurry soft edges and some crisp edges when it comes close. So I'll be working on edges. And also I'm going to tweak the color story and fix the composition and work on form. The form is not quite right. And I gotta get these flowers not all facing forward. They gotta have dimension and depth. So I'm gonna start with the background. Whenever you are fixing a painting, you always want to follow these sort of steps. Back to front, dark to light, big brush to small brush. So I'm starting with a big brush. I'm starting with the background. And I might just obliterate some of these flowers. Sorry, Tanner. So I'm mixing a transformational brown teal here in the background. And I'm going to just kind of glaze that in. So this is going to help integrate the forms with the background and the foreground. The reason it's going to integrate it is because I'm not, see how all the edges are like outlined and it's like the flower in the background. And the contrast is the same all the way around. But if you look at here, the contrast is not all the same. So by basically putting some darks here, like so, it's already beginning to integrate, even though I haven't even touched those. So that is basically the idea of putting this background glaze on it. So starting with the darks, back to front, dark to light, I am going to integrate and work on some of the tones back here.
Elli, you've sold and painted over like 10,000 paintings. Was there ever a time you actually thought a painting was unsalvageable?
You know, almost every painting I create at some point, I'm wondering if it's salvageable. I think that's like the natural, normal feeling a lot of artists have as they're, you know, trying to finish their paintings. But the only time I've ran into some like real problematic things where I haven't really been able to fix it is when I make a huge, huge compositional issue. So I would say composition, where you just put, the way that you placed the main subject and you go too far into the painting that it's actually easier just to paint over than it is to fix it. Those are the only ones that I find are not salvageable. Every great once in a while, then I will come across a painting, it has bad voodoo. I don't know, there's just something wrong with it. And no matter what I do, and then I'll paint over it, completely paint over it, and then that painting is a problem. And so it's like a hexed, cursed canvas, and I'll just kind of throw those away. But it's rare. It's really rare.
So what I'm hearing is it's more of a spiritual thing.
I don't even know why that happens. I would love to know in the chat if that has happened to you. If you have had one of those canvases that just is a problem child and you paint over it and then that painting is a problem child.
Why do you think it's important for artists to learn how to fix paintings rather than just like, you know, when it gets hard, start a new one?
Because every painting needs fixing. I think the misnomer or like the mistake a lot of people make is they think that their paintings, you know, like they made a mistake or there's something wrong with their painting. And every painting needs fixing. No painting just is perfect right out of the gate. I mean, maybe it's not this, you know, big of a problem, but most paintings have problems throughout. Mine do. And I spend most of my time fixing paintings. So they get off track or, you know, it goes through a messy stage and then it has to come out of the messy stage. Messy stage is normal. So now I'm adding in the light tones that are around, and then I'll be ready to, you know, I have to say this is one of the most challenging lives I've done, to fix a painting like this in such a short period of time, in 1 hour. So
bring on the hardest possible intellectual questions that you can imagine while you're painting.
So I'm just saying that I'm earning my keep today.
Why did you choose to use oils to fix it rather than just go with acrylics, especially given the time constraint?
Oh, that is a good question. I feel more confident in oils, meaning I can do I'm trying to finish this painting in the time that we have, and in acrylic, I don't feel confident that I could finish it. When it's a problem child. If I got to do it myself from the beginning, then I would feel more confident. But given that I have to, you know, pick up after it's started. But you can just see that already by disappearing some things and ghosting them out, it's actually helped it, even though, I didn't pop anything forward yet.
So what I heard from you before is basically that like composition is the biggest factor in terms of whether or not you would choose to start over. Would that also mean that composition is like the most important out of color, edges, and composition, or how would you rank those within a painting?
Composition is pretty important, but it's also like you don't have to have like an amazing composition. If you just have like a decent composition, you can get by. But if you have a terrible composition, everybody will know it, and it can ruin everything. So, you don't have to have a brilliant composition, but you really can't have a bad one, if that makes sense.
So what are you working on right now?
Just finishing the background, and I'm done. So now I'm going to start pulling these images. My biggest issue is, because these flowers are all flat and just facing forward and there's no dimension to them. So I'm trying to turn them into something more dimensional. And so that's kind of what I'm gonna try next. The tulips are in pretty good shape. He did a really good job on those. It looks like he was really trying his best there, and then started to say, oh, this is looking too good, and then did the other flowers. Am I right, Tanner?
It was the opposite, actually. It was looking too bad, so I added the tulips.
Oh, okay. There you have it. So dark to light. I'm just gonna go right over this. That's another, I would say, mistake people make, is rather than just ignoring what's there, which is basically what I did. They want to get white paint and kind of like white out everything and start over. And I have students ask me all the time, should I just paint it white and start over? It's like, no, then you have to have a whole day of drying time. So as you can see right away, with just one color of paint, I transformed what was there into, that. And it will work. Once I put the highlights.
Someone wanted to know, Tina wanted to know, how did you decide what should be dark in the background versus light?
I'm following the source. And what I did is I made a source off of what was here. So I incorporated the things that I would keep, and then, got rid of the things I didn't want to keep. So having, I think, a source to work from is important, and I think it makes everything a lot easier when you're looking at something. I'm not sure if Tanner did this out of his head or, was looking at something or not, but, and kind of like what I was saying before, you don't want the whole flower like it was where it's light all the way around. So it has to be kind of nestled into dark. So these are sort of nestled in the dark. And that way they're grounded, because we had floating flowers before. So
I feel like this could be a whole series, Ellie. It seems like a lot of people like this so far.
That's good.
It would be really interesting if we had like the artists a part of it too. So they're like there with you, and because a lot of people have questions for Tanner on like choices that he did in the beginning before, but just this whole idea of like fixing a painting, I feel like could be like a series.
Yeah. Because it is pretty important that.
And they're so like, it's new every time, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's always something
A new
different.
problem.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if that flower could make it or not, so everything must go, Tanner. It's all like, I'm keeping your tulips. And this'll morph just like that morphed. This'll morph. That one had to go. Sometimes, you know, John does not like it when I say this. It really bothers him, but obviously I don't mean it, so, but sometimes, you know, the children have to die. So,
Every time.
so you can't get too, you know, too wrapped up, and you can't fall in love with some pieces. Now, maybe I can make this like a weird abstract shadow of a flower. I think that could be cool. That kind of go off. So there you go, Tanner, I'm using it.
A lot of people were asking how you did the source. And Ellie uses Pixelmator or Pixelmator Pro. So I'm assuming Ellie took a picture of the original painting and then overlaid images of other flowers and other elements onto that using different blending methods on Pixelmator.
Yep.
You can also use Photoshop if you're on a PC or Android device, because Pixelmator is Mac only. How fun would it be if, like, at the end of a workshop, there's like one student who got to like collaborate with you, and then you like finish the painting,
Yeah, we
and
could have
then
people send us their paintings.
put it in the gallery, you know,
Yeah.
and then they
It's a
got to like
collaboration.
sell a painting with you as a
I
collaboration.
love that idea.
You know, or like a person from an in-person workshop, like someone who comes out here with us, you know.
Yeah. Also, it's really important, especially in working in oils, you know, if you have wet paint, you can wipe it out. So I need to put a highlight here. So I'm just taking Q-tips and I'm rubbing out the paint that I put there. And what that's going to do is give me the ability to put a highlight there. So you can kind of see the highlight coming. So I'm just wiping out here a little bit before I add some highlights in a minute. And I'm going to put some yellow around here. And if I did that on top of the blue, it would be green. So that's why I'm wiping this out. And it kind of gives you a preview of, you know, how it might look.
Some people were asking if you can use Pixelmator on your phone, and you can. There is a Pixelmator app on the phone. Debbie wants to know if you can do this process with acrylics, and you absolutely can.
Yeah.
Are there any different, like, would you approach this differently if you were using acrylics, Ellie?
Well, I would use spray paint. I would correct some things with spray paint, because with spray paint you can get some really cool abstract effects. So So I would probably go in with a little bit of a mixed media type approach.
Someone wanted to know if you were dipping the cotton swabs in anything, or were you just putting
No,
that?
just
No.
straight cotton. Okay.
Earlier, Suzanne had a question about Galkid. She said with her Galkid, it turns solid after a weekend or a few weekends. What would your recommendation be for that?
Sounds like I would contact Gamblin about that. I've had it dry on me, but that's usually if I didn't put the lid on good. So I just realized I don't have my glasses on. That's probably why I can't see so good. Makes a big difference.
Would you mind going over like what makes a bad color story?
A bad color story is typically when you have, there's a lot of things that can make a bad color story, but usually it's when you have, you know, a rainbow, like a bunch of colors, there's no dominant color, or you have an equal amount of color. Some people put like a tendency is to make it yellow, red, and blue, all the primaries, and it's, sorry, it's, Jake, why don't you tell them what makes a bad color story? I know the answer. I'm just trying. I'm either painting bad or I can't talk. So.
Yeah, totally. Okay. It's hard to necessarily say a bad color story without a visual example, I guess.
Okay, it's when you have an equal amount of colors, like there's no dominant color. Good color stories mean that there's like a star of the show. There's a color that really stands out. So everything is kind of grayed out except for this kind of purpley red. And then you have a little bit of the complement. But if I had just as much yellow as I did purple, then you know, it would fight. You would have a fighting sort of complementary palette. These sort of slate grays are the analogous or the friend color to the purple. So it's basically, and there's a lot of neutrals. So if you throw a lot of neutrals in there, you hardly can, you almost can't mess it up. You also can't mess up a color story if you have a lot of neutrals. I already said that. If you have one dominant color. So that's another great way to have a successful color story. If you just go online and find a mood board that you like, that seems to work, and you follow the proportion, a good color story is typically about the proportion of color. So how much real estate does one color sort of hold?
I think an abstract way to talk about it is like a bad color story has no opinion.
Oh, that's a great way, yeah.
Like a painting with a good color story has a strong opinion. It really tells you what it thinks.
Yeah. You want an Elli. Elli has lots of opinions. It's a lot harder to take a messed up flower and make it good than just to, make a good flower right from the start. So, I don't know what that means about fixing, but.
Someone asked earlier about how do you go about like choosing what to work on first with the source? If you can like think back to where you started.
It's big to small, back to front, dark to light.
There you go. There's the formula. Big to small. Let's make a song, Catherine. Big to small, back to front, dark to light.
So I'm now in a medium brush because I'm more working on the foreground. The very first thing I did is worked on the background, because that sets up, your objects. So I haven't done the highlights, right? I've worked dark to light. So I could finish one thing, 1 square inch at a time, and work on these individually, and it would start to look better for you, and we'd all feel better, but it's not really the correct order of things. So it's really good to stay disciplined in that whole, process of big to small, dark to light, back to front. It's how you're going to have the most success with fixing a painting.
We need to make like some sort of beautiful poster or something that artists could hang in their studio. It's like big to small, back to front.
Now, these are foreshortened. He did a good job there, and I'm going to keep that. And I'm going to kind of keep his flower, but this thing has to be a lot bigger, and these petals have to be quite a bit smaller. So we have some issues.
What advice would you have for an artist to avoid getting to the stage where they need to fix it?
Well, all paintings do need to be fixed. And, I mean, mine included. Your fixed is maybe a strong word for it. It's like render. You're rendering it. Mm-hmm. If your painting is perfect the whole way, you are not painting correctly. You're finishing as you go, or you're finishing 1 square inch at a time. You're making it all like perfect to begin with. And that's going to look like a very stiff, not fresh, overworked painting. I do not recommend that. And that's probably not, what you're alluding to, but so you're always kind of getting your painting from, let's say, the messy stage to the stage that is rendered and refined. So the refinement is knowing how to fix and having an eye for, okay, that needs, better edges, or that needs, whatever it needs. And in those cases, learning how to fix paintings that are broken. So there's a difference between, kind of rendering form and getting it to look refined and good to, it's in trouble, it's got problems, and you're fixing it. But the skills are basically very similar. So I think you want to repeat your process. I mean, that's what we do in the mastery program, is we encourage artists when they're finding their voice to find that recipe of how they want to paint. And once you find your recipe, your process that works well for you, it's an enjoyable process. You look forward to going into the studio. Then you just repeat that, and then it becomes really familiar, and you just know how to render and how to get your painting to the finish line without a lot of confusion or questions.
What do you think overall is like the hardest part about this painting to fix? Or is it just a lot of small moving parts that makes it hard to fix?
I think it's the time limit and not having drying time. Not being able to work in layers. So I have to be, more strategic.
Leonie earlier wanted to know if the 3 principles, big to small, back to front, dark to light, applied to both oils and acrylics, and the answer is yes.
Yes.
Applies to painting in general. Would you say it also applies to watercolor? Well, except for dark to
no.
light, you have to do light to dark.
Light to dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's back to front, big to
Yes.
small,
Yeah.
just not dark to light. Okay, so all of these flowers are ready for highlights, and I should do that because we are running out of time. And then if there's time, I will add like little fun doodads and things, but I think it's better to get the highlights in so it's solved.
Chris wants to know if there are any types of inks or materials that you can use on dried oils, especially when using gold leaf.
One more time.
Do you know of any like mixed media materials that you could use on top of oils, basically?
Oh yeah, there's tons. In fact, I am about to, in the spring, teach a workshop here in person all about mixed media oil. So I think that is going to be really good, because what happens is like she's asking, you get to the mixed you get to the end of it, and then you realize that you've got tight and you obliterated all your mixed media stuff, and then you don't know how to get that back, and so you can't use spray paint, you can't use inks, whatever. So you can use a lot of materials. There's a lot of crayons that you can use. You can use things like alcohol inks, powdered charcoal, using liquid or linseed oil into all kinds of different crayons. Basically anything that breaks down with oil is something that you can use. And there's lots and lots of things. So too many for my brain to think of in the moment. But that is a very good point.
So this is more of a mindset question. If you want to skip it for now, we totally can. But how do you avoid getting frustrated and feeling like giving up when you have a painting that is tough to fix?
That's an excellent question. Or thing to think about. I was talking about that today because we were filming a how to paint realism course, and I think that when things don't go right, like you make a mark or you try something and it doesn't work, it just doesn't look right. The first thing most people experience is this like panic, like, oh my gosh, it doesn't look right, and I don't know what to do now, and so you just keep stabbing at it, and you keep trying, and you keep stabbing and trying something else, and it just keeps getting away from you and getting worse and worse. And then it's like extremely frustrating. And then all the doubt creeps in, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a good artist. I should just quit. What am I doing here? And when I don't know, if I try something and it didn't work, I just kind of let it go. And then I go work on something I do know how to do. And then after a while, I know what the solution is, or I'm in the right state of mind to solve it the next time. So I think just really monitoring, how you feel about things and not just taking a stab at it and basically messing your painting up.
How long does it usually take you to paint a painting in this size from start to finish, not being filmed, or have the time pressure of okay, cameras are rolling, data is accumulating. We got to be conscious of how many gigabytes of footage we're sending to the editors, et cetera.
I would say for me, something loose like this that is small, I would say I could do a good job in about 3 hours.
And would you do this with the mixed media process, or would you do this?
Yeah,
with,
I would do acrylic and water-based stuff first.
So is that 3 hours, total amount of time at easel, or 3 hours? Yeah. Okay. So you might let it dry for a little bit and then come back and.
Yeah, I would probably do the mixed media part, and it would take me about a half hour. And then I would spend 2.5 hours with oil.
Shalala wants to know if we can tell her a little bit more about the mastery program and talk about the different programs we suggest for beginners.
I think you should do that.
Okay. So the mastery program is our flagship program. It's the flagship program for artists who want to learn how to paint anything that they can imagine. So build skill, so that's with oils, with drawing, with mixed media materials like acrylics, inks, alcohol inks, crayons, like Caran d'Ache crayons, markers, spray paint, mark making, and learn a variety of different styles from abstract to impressionism, to abstract expressionism, to abstract realism to realism. And there's even other French classes like on cubism and all sorts of different styles taught within the mastery program, with the goal of that being that you're exposed to a lot of different subject matter, from portraits to cardboard boxes, super exciting, to still lifes, to, I forgot to mention there's charcoal and graphite in the first part too. But you're exposed to a lot of different subject matter, and the goal of being exposed to different subject matter and different painting styles being to find your own voice over time. So we believe you don't know until you try. Like, you don't know if you like it until you try it. And so we try to expose you to a lot of different styles and mediums and processes so that you can find what really sticks to for you and like what works for you in your own artistic process. And what that does is it helps you develop your own unique style and ultimately find your own voice as an artist and know what you want to say. So just like a good color story needs a strong opinion, so too does a portfolio of artwork. And so if you develop your own portfolio of artwork and you create this unique style that is exclusive to you, because each one of us has our own unique style and our own voice, our own unique fingerprint, DNA as a human being, and set of experiences, the mastery program guides you through taking all of those experiences and combining it with the skills that you acquire to create that voice. And so once you do that, we show you how to turn your voice and your unique style into a sellable portfolio of artwork. And not every artist who goes through the mastery program has the goal of having an art career and selling their work professionally as an artist. A lot of retirees take the mastery program who solely want to just find their voice and paint for the joy of it, and maybe make art for their grandkids and their kids, and art to fill their home, and really just feel like they have achieved their potential as an artist. But then we also have this whole collection of artists who are professional artists who graduate from the mastery program, artists who are actually having a career and making a living full-time, quitting their jobs, whether they worked at a grocery store or they were a doctor or other professions, and quitting the things that they don't want to do so that they can spend all of their time, the precious little time that we have here on this planet, doing the thing that they love, and that's creating art. So we teach you in part 4 of the mastery program, after you've found your voice and you've built a portfolio in part 3, you'll learn how to actually turn your art into a business in part 4 of the mastery program. And for the most serious artists, the artists who really want to grow their business to like 6 figures and or just confidently make a full living after the master program and continue having that support after the program, we actually have a dedicated community for professional artists. That's called the Society of Professional Artists. About 200 plus artists that are in the society right now and growing over time. And that is dedicated access to Elli, myself, my wife Dimitra, are the different professionals that we have who work in our company, and the mentors and other professional artists who are part of that society as well. So we have calls every single week. I just had a call today and it was freaking awesome. We talked all about marketing, talked about utilizing AI and some of the advancements that like literally just happened yesterday in AI and how to leverage that in marketing and creating.
That means I don't even know about it yet.
Yeah, in creating marketing assets and working on creating a workflow that works for you as a professional artist. And so all that happens in the Society of Professional Artists, which basically the most serious mastery program graduates end up joining that. So it's a really amazing program, and I can say that from personal experience. I didn't just help like edit the program, but I actually took the program myself and went from not knowing how to draw. I would classify myself as like couldn't even draw a stick figure type of person. to being able to paint realistically in the first few weeks of the mastery program, which was just mind-blowing for me because I always thought that it was about talent. And I looked at Dimitra and I looked at Elli and I looked at John and I saw the work that they were creating, you know, mature into their careers and thought, oh, they're just talented artists, which I'm not saying that to like discount their, you know, abilities, but really I learned in the first few weeks of the program that it's all about skill. And it kind of actually really changed my mind about life in general, in that like everything is about skills and like anything that you want to do boils down to a skill set. And honestly, even things that you think are like soft skills, like kindness is actually a skill that can be learned over time because it's basically just like changing your behaviors. I'm getting off topic now, like going meta. But all of that to say that the mastery program, a lot of people think that it's because the name mastery, they think that you have to have like gone to art school and it's similar to like a master's degree. But in reality, we have artists who have, yes, graduated art school, go through the mastery program, and say that they learned more in like just the first part of the program than they did in 4 years of their art school education at a traditional university. So like that's one end of the spectrum. Even artists who've completed a master's degree have taken the mastery program and rave about it. But we also have artists like myself and many other complete beginners, people who have almost no experience or very little experience. They see, you know, Elli painting this floral on YouTube, or they watch one of our portrait tutorials, or they'll see one of Dimitra's paintings on Pinterest, and it'll stir something in their heart and in their spirit, really, and make them feel like, wow, I want to do this. I want to learn how to paint. I've always had that dream, but you know, maybe they hear a message like what I'm saying, that, you know, it's not about talent, it's about skills, and anyone actually can do it if you persevere, and they decide to take the leap. And so we have the beginners, we have the intermediates, you know, all the people in between, and then we have the people who are more advanced also taking the mastery program. So it's really the program for all artists, artists at any level, anyone who wants to learn how to paint with excellence, create anything that they can imagine, and paint from their heart and soul. And eventually, if they so choose, learn how to sell that and turn it into an actual profession as well. Now, for the artists who are like, I hear what you're saying, that's great. Sounds intimidating though, I totally get it. The mastery program, you have lifetime access to it, so you don't have to worry about like finishing it on a specific schedule. We have some artists who've gone through it in 6 months, and you know, artists who've gone through it in 1 year, and artists who've taken, you know, who've started 5 years ago and are still trucking along, and just taking their time, enjoying it along the way. And we also have artists who complete it in 1 year. In fact, one of the artists who was on season 4 of The Outstanding Artist, which is coming out hopefully in January. We're working hard to get it out in January. But one of the artists who was on there, her name's Jody, took the mastery program and then just didn't quite feel 100% confident in what she was doing. And so she decided to take it again, and then had this like massive transformation and did all of that in less than 2 years, I believe. I'm not 100% positive on the timeline there, but I believe it was less than 2 years because I talked with her before that. And then she ended up creating such excellent art that she earned a spot on The Outstanding Artist, and is now, you know, selling her work and doing a great job with her own career. So you can really go at your own pace with the program. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're thinking about taking the mastery program, I highly recommend just giving it a shot, taking a bet on yourself. We have flexible payment plans, 3 different options. You can choose to, you know, pay the full price and do it over a payment plan over the course of 2 years. You can do a 1-year payment plan and save a little bit, or you can pay up front and save a lot. So it's definitely not as expensive as a traditional art school. It's about 1/10 of the price or less. So we've designed the program to be as affordable as possible and as accessible as possible for artists around the world. We have like 50% of the artists who take it are in the United States. We have probably 15% Canadians in there, whoop whoop. About 15% Australians, shout out to our Aussies. A lot of people from the motherland, Great Britain and Germany, Switzerland, Norway, Finland, Sweden. If you're watching this from anywhere in the world, chances are you have fellow artist comrades in the mastery program with you. And so not only is it this like amazing program with all this content that you get access to, but it's also a community that you get to tap into. So as you guys probably, if you've watched many of our lives or you've joined us here on YouTube, you've probably seen that there is a remarkably positive community in the live chat. And that's, you know, obviously attributed to you all, you amazing artist who is watching this right now, make up that amazing community. And it's just this beautiful, slow blossoming thing that's happened over time where the yucky, spiteful artists have been repelled and the sweet, positive, encouraging, you know, rising tide that lifts all boats, you know, floats all boats type of people have been attracted to our community and stick around over the long haul. So if you want a really positive, encouraging community, then the master program is great for that too. We have like 50,000 artists on our dedicated private community app for anyone who has purchased a class from us. So you get that regardless of whether you take the master program. If you take any of our online classes, you get access to that community. But the master program itself has its own private community where you go through the program with live group coaching calls from one of our, I believe, 30 plus coaches hosting a call. Basically, we have calls every single day within the mastery program in each part of the program. So you have support. It's not just an online program that you're taking alone in your studio. You're taking this program with friends, people who end up becoming friends over time. And actually, our head of copy, one of our, you know, our copywriters who is an artist, graduate of the mastery program. She just went to New York to meet up with one of the ladies who's now one of our coaches for the program, and a group, I believe, of 5 other artists who she took the mastery program with like 4 years ago. So like 4 years ago, this group of 7 artists within the program kind of like bound together, and then now just went to 4 years later, have stayed in touch this entire time, just went to New York to go look at different galleries and stuff and just hang out and spend time together in New York, celebrate each other's wins because Tony Weber, the coach that I mentioned before, she actually just got a licensing deal with Home Goods or was it HomeSense? I don't know. One of those big department stores and another big licensing deal as well. So they were kind of celebrating that along with just hanging out. So it's really a place to find your art tribe. It's a place to find the people who you want to grow with and spend time talking about the thing that you love, which is creating art together. So there's a lot of other really amazing parts of the mastery program. It's honestly the gift that keeps on giving. And it's why we've had over 7,000 students take the mastery program and love it. And you know, it's because everything that we do as a company of artists, basically, at Milan Art Institute is to try to support and make the mastery program the best possible place for artists to grow and thrive over time. So there's my, 1 minute pitch. Just kidding.
Well, it's helped me out.
All right, do you want to check back in, Ellie? Let us know where you're at, maybe what you did a little bit well, or summarize what you did a little bit. Wow, it's looking really good. The depth, you created a lot of depth while we were talking. How'd you do that?
I know, because I could just concentrate. Yeah, I mean, it is a little wet, so like this, I'm not able to finesse things as much as I would love. So maybe next time I do this, I'll just stick with acrylic and mixed media stuff. But I was trying to just do straight up normal painting. Anyway, it's a good challenge. But so like think, but I feel like the fuzzy edges, things not being as definite and plastered on like a sticker, has helped quite a bit. And that's the main thing I would say is edges, getting form in. Some of these flowers just really didn't have any form. And that was kind of an issue. Pushing contrast, but also minimizing contrast when it needs that. Getting the color story a little bit slicker. You know, this was kind of disruptive, although I do like the texture there. I used a lot of what Tanner had in there, but tried to use it more to our advantage. Now, like when you are doing edges, see how like that kind of dry brushes over the top, and that really does help. So kind of mixing up that sort of grayish blue back there. And I've kind of run out of time, but I'm just gonna put one last little swipe here. So kind of like obliterating some edges when you can, you know, can make things, you know, sort of disappear, and it gives it more, what am I trying to say? It gives it more atmosphere and helps the composition work. So coming in, so I did start with the background, and then now I'm, you know, to kind of try to make this work better, I'm trying to do a little more in the background now that the form is sort of in there. If that makes sense. It's really hard to pull myself away, Jake. You're gonna have to just make me, you have to boss me here, because I want to do my best, and it's not that, it's
Okay,
not, it's really not enough time.
We'll go outstanding artist style. You have 5 minutes remaining.
5 minutes, okay.
We'll do a countdown. I'll set a timer.
I feel like this shape is kind of important to the composition, so I'm gonna endeavor to get that in there. And why, you might ask why? Why is it important? I feel like it creates a pathway into the light. You know, this is just kind of a little dark and heavy. There's some stuff there, but it needs a little breakthrough there. So you have to look at paintings like an abstract. It's like you have to squint your eyes to see, you know, what it needs. What do you think it needs, Jake? You're awfully good at this stuff.
Oh, shoot. I've just been looking at all these amazing messages in the chat about the mastery program.
It sounds like we're in two different worlds, you and I.
Yeah. Okay. Well, looking at the painting and not the source.
Yeah, the source is not exactly being followed, but.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, it looks really good. It's like, honestly, no offense, Tanner, a totally different painting. Also, guys, I gotta shout out Tanner here for what a champ he is. He's totally getting like the, I don't know, it seems like it's bad and we're ragging on him because this is like the bad painting to fix. But Tanner made this with this video in mind. Tanner's actually a fantastic artist, and if you don't follow him on Instagram, you should check him out. He does all sorts of painting challenges for himself. And I honestly don't know how he does it because we work him ragged here, and then he goes home and he paints and films videos of himself painting too. So, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't have anything meaningful to add other than you have 2 minutes and 20 seconds left.
Okay. I can do it. I could do it.
Okay, I gotta read out this this testimonial because I've never heard this before. So Miss Goli said, I watched the Master Program lessons in full, but I want to say that I also listened to them as I relax in bed before falling asleep. Elli's and Dimitra's voices make for great dreams.
Aw.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Tanner's last name is Polsley, so that's Polsley. I got it, yeah. And we're still doing a giveaway, guys. I could actually do that right now while you're finishing up.
Okay.
You have 1 minute and 15 seconds left, and we will do the giveaway right at the end too. So I am going to start the giveaway. So all you have to do is be commenting or have commented. And I am shuffling the giveaway and starting it now. So we're gonna do a quick countdown here. And we have a special gift for all the people just while we wait for the giveaway. Anyone who really loved this live and loved learning how to fix a painting probably would love even more knowing how to start a painting without having to fix it. So learning how to create a painting from start to finish. And you know, if you're thinking about taking the mastery program and you're like, I want to check out some of the other classes first before you know, committing to this, see if I've got the chops, or see if you know, I really love.
Or see if Elli even knows how to teach.
Yeah. See. Oh, that was the timer. Okay. Well, you can keep going until I'm done, but see if Elli really knows how to teach. What it's like to take one of our classes when Elli is just teaching from start to finish. We have a brand new version of the Abstract Floral Masterclass that over 13,000 artists have taken and love. We decided to recreate it using all the things that all the students, the 13,000 people who took it, loved most about it, but film it in the most beautiful way with all of our new luxurious cameras and all of the camera angles, and Elli and Dimitra's increased skills in teaching over time, because the original class was over 2 years ago. And so we have a special $10 off promo code. So instead of paying 25 bucks, it is only $15 to learn how to create a beautiful abstract floral from start to finish. And you can do that in just one evening. So learn how to create a beautiful abstract floral in just one evening. The first 1,000 artists get that $10 off, and you can just use that code FIX10, which is pinned in it's at the top of the description and will be pinned in the comments below as well. Use that code FIX10 at checkout. The first 1,000 artists are gonna get $10 off. But if you're like, you know what, I want to take the mastery program, just do that instead. Because you actually get that class in the mastery program. It is included in it, along with all of our master classes, not our mastery insights, but all of our master classes are included in the mastery program. So you get all of that. Plus
and
a whole bonus library.
Yeah, you have lifetime access. So we recommend, if you are in the mastery program, to just stay the course, just stay in how it's presented. But because you have lifetime access, If you need bonus content, you have more time, then you can go to that. And then once you're finished with the mastery program, you have basically a whole library of endless amounts of instruction and learning that you can always go through as you are walking out your career and succeeding in selling art. So, yeah.
Also, I wanted to say too, if you already bought the original Abstract Floral, we just wanted to go ahead and bless you and give you this new updated version for free. So you don't have to pay for the new updated version. It's already in your library. So if you just log in to the app, you'll have access to that updated version there in the app. So you can check that out.
Yeah, so don't buy it twice.
Yeah. So we don't like having to give out refunds because every time someone buys something that they already bought, we have pay a fee for that. So anyways, I pinned the link in the chat. Now it's time to let the winner know that they won. And the winner of this beautiful acrylic painting starter kit.
This is very exciting because this is a Mac Daddy set here.
It is a $295 acrylic painting starter set. Full acrylic set with the medium brushes.
Professional acrylics.
Professional acrylics, not the cheap grade stuff, the professional grade stuff. The type that's buttery smooth. And the winner is Gen C Fine Art.
Woohoo!
Congratulations, Jen. You win that beautiful set. I'd just love to get your confirmation in the chat that you see this. And that you're still here watching because you have to be here live during the giveaway in order to win. So hopefully you're here. Someone's like, how do you pronounce my name? They wanted me to say their name. That's funny. I love that. Okay, Jen, please confirm in the chat. I hope you're still here. I'd hate for you to watch this later and realize that you missed out on it. Because if you're not here, I will have to pick someone else. I'm going to give it another minute here, and while we do that, Ellie.
Should we just review what we did?
Yes, that was exactly what I was going to ask.
Okay, so Tanner created a painting that I just saw something I didn't like, but Tanner created a painting that was a floral, and we told him to not do a great job. So he had to try to not do a great job and do some common mistakes, which are usually like plastered on forms where there is no integration between the object, like the flower, and the background. And so he did a great job with that, of not integrating the forms with the background. He had a little bit of a bungled composition, some like floating objects. Everything was facing forward like a sticker instead of having form and having it turn. So he did a great job on the tulips. So those did not require hardly any work. And what I did is I started with the background, and because that's really what sets the stage for these flowers to be at home in the painting. So I always work paintings big to small, back to front, dark to light. So if you can just remember those three things and always do it in that order, you will have a lot easier time working your paintings. So I started with the background. I darkened some spots, I lightened some spots, I painted out some things that didn't work compositionally. And then I started on the forms. I began with dark, big brushes, and I blocked in. So I blocked in the forms right over top of what was there, rather than, painting it white and starting over or something like that. You don't really ever do that. So I just went over it with dark. Then I put in the highlights, worked, dark to light. So dark, then midtones, then highlights. Then went a little bit into the edges, got some things to disappear so other things could pop forward, highlights. And that's that. Spent about an hour, little over an hour on it. And I think it looks quite a bit better. And that's how I fixed this painting. So mostly it was integrating the forms with the background, edges, and making sure it had form. So, and edges really plays a lot into that. Okay, so are you going to pick another person?
Oh, no, sorry. Jen did respond, so
Oh,
we're
cool.
good to go.
Yay, Jen. Okay.
Jen was here.
All right.
There was a sea of messages and I couldn't see it, so.
Okay, so for you watching, and if you're watching not the live of this, the replay, take advantage of that floral abstract. It's a fabulous class, and we will teach you exactly how to integrate your florals into an abstract background and how to make it look like it's a part of the piece, to kind of have that abstract realism sort of style going. So it's a really great class. Dimitra and I teach it together, and thanks for watching, being a part of this. We'll probably do more of these fix a painting type of idea. So thanks for being here, and we will see you next time.